All right, everybody wanted the strategy. I asked for 10 likes and I got it. You guys delivered. Here's the strategy. Okay, so we're going to start out with step one by applying the indicators. Applying the indicators, okay? So this requires an alligator indicator and a 9 EMA. All right, so you go to your platform here, and on the MT4 is the alligator, and you just drag that onto your chart. And I'm not going to show you where the 9 EMA is because I know everyone knows where that is already. So step one, add the 9 EMA and the alligator indicator. Okay, so step two, this is a very simple strategy, by the way. Step number two is you're going to find the trend on a daily chart. All right, now, look, let's do a pop quiz. What direction is the trend? Oh, wait, the arrow, it's an uptrend. Okay. So we look on a daily chart. You can see this is October 26th. We're moving up. All right. Nice uptrend. So we just find that. Very simple. Step three is we wait for price to retrace to touch the bands. Okay. So you'll notice these bands are the alligators. And what's happening here? We're big uptrend. Boom, 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 boom. Now we got to wait. Now you're going to notice here. Let me just draw this out here. This is a box, okay? This is a box. So part of the strategy is to use these bands, but you've also got to have a little bit of trading knowledge, right? When you're in a box, like this is my box strategy. This is the box strategy that I use all the time, okay? But these indicators are just helping me, right? You can use these indicators, which I do, but you want to make sure you have a basic understanding of trading. Okay, so here's the box strategy. And so how do I trade this? I wait for it to break out of the box. So just knowing, right, so step one is wait for it to touch the bands, but then identify patterns. I'm not writing that in the list because that should be common traders knowledge. If you're interested in learning more, go to my video on if you click your channel, like just the main channel page, I've got an amazing tutorial on candlestick patterns. And one of the best patterns there is the box pattern. Literally one of the best of the best. And that's when it breaks out of the box, you buy. When it breaks out of the box, you sell. That is a great pattern. So anyways, let me just erase that and get on track. Sorry for getting off track. Wait for it to hit the bands. And in this case, you wait for it to hit the bands. And then what happens is you break out. Now, there are different market conditions and different ways to trade this. In this case, it was going sideways. So you have to note that. Right. And I'm not trying to make it complicated because this is not complicated, but there are things you need to know because there's different kinds of trends. So this is just a sideways move. It's a big straight up trend, but it's a sideways move and it touches the thing. There are some, let's go ahead and show you some of them, right? Some of the trends are going like this. And then here's the, this is be the moving averages. This is the alligator. Okay, and it's so steep that when price comes back, it barely tips the band and then takes off, right? Just like that. It just barely touches the band and takes off. So when that's the case, how do you trade it? Well, you wait for it to touch the band and then you watch the price action. If you get another candlestick pattern, you get in, right? That's one type. Another type is if it does a box entry, you wait for the box, right? So these are just little things that you pick up from trading, from repetition, and consistency, right? I can just see these things. And, we talk about AI and robots, and I do have a robot. So it's not like I'm not against robots. They're good. But there's just some things that a robot doesn't know that you could never teach, or maybe a collective like 10,000 people programming a robot to learn all this stuff, because it just takes thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of stuff that you pick up and learn from examining charts and trading. All right, so that's step two. Step one is to find the trend. Step two, wait for it to hit the bands. Okay, so what's step three? Oh, how to go from that? Okay, whoa. what did I do? Step 3, wait for it to touch the bands, and then it touches the bands, and then I went to step 5, the entry. Nah, that was a mistake. How did I do that? Okay, so step number 4. It's step 4. Boom, and I'm not changing it. So I apologize, but it's step 4. You can write it down in your own notes. Step 4. I'm the kind of kid, I teach Sunday school and we do a lot of coloring. And so I'm the kid that would never stay in the lines, right? I just have a hard time with those kind of details. And so there you can see it now. It's been good for me to not stay in the lines because I just break a lot of barriers. But at some point, it's not good, like when I'm trying to improve presentations and things like that. So I apologize, but I don't color in the lines. All right. Did you color in the lines? Yes or no? In the comments. I want to see how many kids, how many differences we got here. Okay, so step number 4 is the entry. And what you do is you're going to go to a 1 hour time frame. A 1 hour time frame. So, and I just got a message from my good friend here, Guy Cohen, as I'm chatting here, and he said today the market could be interesting, market timing topping out. So he's a market pro. That's another secret. Get market pros to be friends. And he's going to give me, I'm going to chat with him later about some of this stuff. And by the way, I might be having a show with him on this channel. So if that's interesting to you, let me know. So I apologize for not getting on track. On track, the entry. We're going to enter on a 1 hour time frame. Okay, 1 hour time frame. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is a 3-part entry, and I call it the break, hook, and go. And that was something that I learned from that terminology from one of my mentors, Scott Barkley. It's a very common occurrence in trading, but Scott always called it a break, hook, and go, and I learned that from him. But really, it's just a break, hook, and go is just a simple, like when I had the box pattern, let's just assume that we got the box. A break, hook, and go is just this. When it breaks out, it comes back, and then it goes. And so you wait for it to break, you wait for it to come back, and then when it makes the move, you get in there. Okay, so just try to think of that, right? You just think of that. That's how it works. Okay, so that's the break, hook, and go. Now, I wanted to show you on an example. So on that daily chart that I zoomed up, now this is that box. This is the big box, right? Here's the big box, and now this is inside of there. Okay, so we're looking for a 1 hour chart, and what do we get? We get the break above the 9. The big yellow one is the 9. And then I'm looking for a pullback. So what I'm looking for is a candle like this. I look for a bearish candle. And you see there, we broke above. There was a bearish candle. And then when it broke out the top. So my actual entry on a 1 hour time frame would be right here. And I place my stop loss below the low of all the way down over here. And I put my target way out there, right? I want to hit like a 5 or 10% target. So if I'm going to hit this, this will be my stop loss, this area here, right? From 16, my entry is about 1,600 and 16,000. So my stop loss is going to be from 16,000 to 1,572. Now, I want to try to target about a 5 to 10% gain on that. No issues, right? Because remember, we're trying to find a strategy that takes about 3% a month. That was the goal. If you guys watched my other video, go back to that. I'm trying to show you how to get into a prop firm, how to get into the $1 million account. And by the way, I am going to have another video about how prop firms work and that kind of thing. That's really good. You guys are going to hopefully building on some knowledge. Okay. So, let me go back. I wanted to show one other thing on that chart. One other thing I wanted to show here is that it happened a couple times. So this was one, but then it happened again here. You see right here, and there was an entry. So either one, the entries were almost the same. You see that? It's just the timing, the stop loss, either one of these trades would have been a winner. Right? And then it actually happens again. So just to give you an idea, what do you need? You need a close above the EMA, a bearish candle, and then a break out the top. It's a break above, a hook, and a go, and your entry's on the go, right? And then typically this part here, this part will be a bearish candle. And it doesn't always end up in a bearish candle, but that's the price action we're looking for. And then we enter on this, and where do we put the stop? Like here. That is essential entries. That's how I do it every time, and it really works really well. Okay, so now let's go to the next one here. Step 6, stop loss and TP. We're going to set them on a daily chart. Let me go ahead and pull up some trading charts here so you guys can see some chartage, some chart action. All right, so let me close all of this junk here. All right, so here it is on the daily, right? And so I'm going to zoom up for you guys. And you're going to see there's the box, right? There's the box right there. Right there's the box. Okay? Just like so. All right? And then there's the entry. And so we have right here, this is the stop loss. The stop loss is right here. This is 1. And then, right up here's the move we're looking for. And I don't know what's going to happen. We're still above this 10 EMA. We're not touching these. But this is near, I didn't take this trade, but if I did, I'd be looking at taking profit somewhere in here, maybe hoping that it bounces back up next time it hits up in here, take profit. It might go sideways a little bit and then hit and then take off again, or we could get a trend reversal. Either way, I don't know what's going to happen, but if I was to take that trade, I would be looking at locking in some profit here and trying to get hopefully a really big winner, because this trade has been going on for a while, about 2 weeks. Okay, so now let's go back and let's back test this thing a little bit. Okay, we're going to just zoom it back, and let's go back here. Okay, so you can see that in this entire section, this is 2023. You can see we had a breakout above daily. Okay, where's it retest? Right here. Boom. What do we get? We get a V formation. So that would be a very quick entry right there. Stop loss. And you can drop to a 1 hour. I'm not going to do it, but you don't necessarily have to either. You can just look for the price action candle. Right? So I'm giving you a little bit of variations. I'm allowing you to think a little bit. But what you got to do is learn this, think, and then write your notes, journal, observe. What are you learning? And keep track of your results. Okay? So here's a possible entry. Now, after that, what happens? Oh, look, we hit the back moving averages again, but we got a box here. We got a box, okay? There's a box, and then the box kept going, and then finally it broke out of the box, and then what happened? Boom. Big move to the upside. Big move to the upside. So, again, same thing. Here we go. This is June, right? Back in. And along the way, there's other entries, by the way. There's one here, V. There's one here, a V. And then there's one here, and this one's a box, right? So there's V entries and there's boxes, but then what happens? It breaks out. And then I think somewhere around here, we might get a slowdown. I don't know. Let's move out and see what happens. And then finally, that's a mess. And it reverses, right? And so you want to try to get it when it's a big uptrend, but that's it. Just scan your charts. You only need to take 2 or 3 trades like this a month, and you're going to get your 3% pretty easily. Okay. Very high win rate, very high success rate. It just takes a little practice and timing, and you don't have to trade all the time. All right. Well, tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to cover my 52-week strategy, which in the month of December has been undefeated. I'm also going to talk, not 52 trades, because there's 1 trade a week. I'm also going to talk about how prop firms work, and just for some of the beginners and people that don't know anything about prop firms. But hey, I hope that this has been helpful to you. Hope that you've enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you can use or any questions or anything I need to dive in deeper on. But that's it for tonight. And we'll see you guys on the next video.